would say my style of art is very soft. I'd say it's a little romantic. It's very illustrative. I pull from reality, but I don't let that rule what I draw. And I knew that sitting at a computer all day is not what I wanted to do, and it was very impersonal to me. Tattooing never crossed my mind because my family was so against it. They hated tattoos. I saw that they were hiring apprentices at Hattiesburg Tattoo. I just decided, fuck it, you know, what am I gonna lose? I really just want to be happy. I think for me, it's less about the money and more about the passion and learning and forcing myself to grow in uncomfortable positions. Just always looking for things that I can do different and not just be a basic, you know, run-of-the-mill tattoo artist. And tattooing is the hardest thing I've ever done. It's the hardest media I've ever used, and just adapting my drawing style and my artistic understanding and, you know, transitioning to tattooing is very difficult. I want to touch people's lives and, you know, create cool art, and I think that's my main concern, is just constantly growing. My name is Blair Rydell and I'm a tattoo artist. I'm from Memphis. I moved down to Hattiesburg about 7 years ago. We originally lived in California and we moved out of there to Memphis to kind of get away from a lot of stuff. So.
Oh, okay. I was about to ask why California and Memphis is such a...
Yeah, it's a big jump. So, I mean, okay, so my brother was sick and we came to Memphis to kind of get away from California's medical issues. It was cheaper in Memphis too. There was a little more kid-friendly, so we just came out here for stuff like that. I would say my brother. He was an artist, and I remember him making all of these anime drawings and cartoon drawings, and he would post them on DeviantArt, and I would see that and I'd be like, I want to do that. You know? Gosh, I mean, I started drawing, I can't even remember when I started. I've been doing it for so long. I remember my first drawing, I guess it was a dog of some sort, and I remember being so proud of it and showing it to my class, my teachers, my parents. But I guess that's my first memory I have of drawing. When I came to college, I originally majored in marine biology, and I was set to be a marine biologist, and then I got an internship, and I actually ended up hating what we were doing. It was all computer work, and I was literally documenting whether a beluga whale did this or this, and I was like, no, this is not for me. So I switched to graphic design about 3 years in, and I almost have a degree in that. So I guess it's kind of art related. I guess they go hand in hand a little bit, yeah.
Are you still working on that degree now?
Yes, I have one more class. I don't know if I'm going to do it though. We'll see. I was drawn to marine biology. I have a vivid memory of when I was like 7 or 8, and it was when the oil spills were happening down at the coast, and they were, I guess, marketing Dawn, and they were washing these baby ducks in the oil. And I was like, I want to do that, you know, I want to save ducks and hold them and play with wildlife and stuff, and that's not what it is at all, so. My first tattoo, you can't see it anymore because I covered it up, but my first tattoo was a Jeep, which is a little wild, but I guess it goes back to my brother. He had a Jeep and he loved it, and he passed away, so that was kind of like a memorial for him in some way. But yeah, I hated it, so I ended up getting it covered like last year sometime, so.
So 1990.
Yes, this is the day of my brother's birthday. And then I also got this piece for him because I covered up that first memorial piece. So
Yeah.
this is just like a sweet little something for him.
Okay. So the first big leg piece I see is alligator.
Yeah, he's a big old piece.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he goes all the way up to booty.
Wow, what made you want to get that?
I love alligators too. So big cats and alligators are like my favorite things in the world. And I like the idea that they used to be dinosaurs. So I just think they're cool. And this is also a cover-up. There was actually a quote right here. So it's kind of a two-in-one. I would say being introduced to tattooing as an art form was watching Ink Master when I was a kid. You know, that's when it kind of took off in the 2000s. At least in my world it did. So I would say that opened my eyes to it. But to me, I guess being exposed to it as an idea for me to do as a career, I was in high school or college and I was like building a Pinterest board for a tattoo to get. And, you know, I just decided to start drawing tattoo designs. So I guess I kind of sought it out myself a little bit.
Did you give yourself your first tattoo? I know a lot of tattoos.
Yes. I absolutely gave myself my first tattoo and it's really bad.
What is it?
It's my cat. And it's on my ankle, I could show you. It's this one. Yeah, it's bad. It's okay, you don't have to be nice about it.
It was nice as you did it yourself, because I'm scary.
It was hard, and I almost passed out the first couple of minutes, but I struggled through it. It was fine. I remember sitting on the floor of my bedroom because my ex got me a tattoo kit for Christmas, actually, and I sat on the floor of my bedroom and gave myself a tattoo. I don't recommend doing that. Yeah, I did this one and then my little baby cat right there. This was the first tattoo I did on myself once I was like an apprentice. So this was a tattoo that I did during my apprenticeship. And I got a new machine, so I wanted to test it out. And I fucked up a little bit, but it's fine.
Yeah, I'll back up.
Yeah, don't zoom in. Oh gosh, when I gave my first tattoo to somebody else, I was shaking in my boots, you know, and before that, they had given us about 6 months of guidance and we got to sit and watch them tattoo. And you know, it's different to watch somebody do it and to do it yourself. So I was shaking, trembling, like full body, just anxiety. But I think for what I was doing, I think it turned out okay, and I had guidance over my shoulder whenever I needed it, so it was good. But I was terrified the whole time.
I can imagine that.
Yeah, like this is permanent on somebody, you know, and I still have those realizations while I'm tattooing today where I'm like, holy shit, like this is permanent for them. They can't get rid of me. It's kind of crazy. So a tattoo apprenticeship, mine, I'm not going to pretend it was like the old school kind of apprenticeship because those were pretty intense. My apprenticeship was a 2-year process and it essentially just had me watching and analyzing how other tattooers did things, whether that was business, how they interacted with people, how they designed things. I would watch them and study their technical approaches. But yeah, about 6 months into it, we started practicing on friends and family, if they were willing. And then we started doing like walk-ins on small stuff on the arms and legs only. And then it just kind of snowballs, I guess.
So you're in school for graphic design, and you're like, when was the moment like, okay, yeah, I want to take this apprenticeship program?
Okay, so being in school for graphic design, I was really unhappy. And I knew that sitting at a computer all day is not what I wanted to do, and it was very impersonal to me. So when I started actually doing jobs for people, I realized how much it drained me. and I started looking for alternate options, and tattooing never crossed my mind because my family was so against it. They hated tattoos. When I got my first one, they about lost their minds. But I saw that they were hiring apprentices at Hattiesburg Tattoo, and I just decided, fuck it, you know, what am I gonna lose? And when I actually got the job, I was like, oh shit, like I have to tell my parents that I'm gonna be doing this. But yeah, I would say during my major and my time in college, I realized how little energy I had and how much energy it took for me to actually produce things. So I felt like I needed to find a different way.
Now she is catching my eye. What was the story behind this one?
So this one's actually pretty new. I got that from Taylor Bracey. He's actually an apprentice right now with us. And another thing, I love big cats, and that was something that I kind of gave him as like an exercise, and I let him put it on me.
Oh, so you teach now? How's that?
I don't know about teaching, but you know, I help where I can.
Okay. You know? I got you. What about this little guy right here?
Panther?
Yeah.
So, you know, my love for cats, it's just endless. Mm-hmm. And this was also done by Tyler Davis, and so was my crocodile. I just love animals. I love nature, and it has hearts in there, so it kind of plays into my love for love.
Okay.
You know?
And we got a little thunderstorm right here.
I do. This was also something that I did on myself in the first couple of months apprenticing, I think. I just thought it was cool. I started working at the shop when I was in college, and I saw the apprenticeship hiring post, and I sent my mentor a couple of DMs like, pick me, please. And I was so excited just to be there. So I showed up at the shop, and I showed up with my portfolio, and he had me continue drawing and sharing those drawings with him, and he would critique them and see how I took the critiques. And this was over the course of a couple of weeks, so it was a long, like, cautionary period essentially. And I had to come up and hang out all day long and just sit there and draw and see how I fit in with everybody. But once they decided that I fit into the group pretty well, I was in. So, and there was no like formal introduction. It wasn't like, hey, you got the job. It's just, I just kept coming. They can't say no to that.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Since I've been at the shop, it's been nothing but positive. And you hear so many horror stories about people's apprenticeships. So I had that in mind when I was getting into it. And it's been incredibly positive, super constructive. Everybody was super willing to share information, and I didn't think that that would be the case. And I would say that my coworkers are truly friends. And I know a lot of businesses say like, we're family, and that's never the case, but it is here. And I love that, because I think I needed that, you know, getting into art. And I've learned more at the shop that I'm with than I ever did in college. And that's with a formal art degree, you know, so.
What's your process usually work?
So I clean everything, and then I wrap all of my materials that I'm working on. Anything that I touch gets wrapped. I protect my machine, and I wrap the outside with saran wrap, and then I use barrier tape, and then put a grip on there just to help my hands. And that's pretty much it. And then I just put out whatever I need.
Okay. Where would you say you draw inspiration from?
Women. I think people in general mostly, but women are like a special inspiration to me. I think femininity and just the female form is very attractive and very beautiful, and I'm not sexualizing it at all, but it just draws me in. And I think I find myself to be a very romantic person, so I find a lot of inspiration and romance in, you know, in the things around me. So I try and pull from that a lot of the time.
How would you explain your style of art?
I would say my style of art is very soft. I'd say it's a little romantic. It's very illustrative. I pull from reality, but I don't let that rule what I draw, if that makes sense. I think it's what we channel for ourselves. You know, I think throughout my childhood, like I really wanted to be feminine, but I was very, I don't know, lack of better word, tomboyish, you know. And I struggled a lot to be friends with women, and I just wanted that like group of femininity so bad, and I wanted the energy around. So I guess that's why I create based on that. I don't know. It's interesting.
This one immediately stuck out. Can you tell me like your walk through your inspiration?
Okay. So this piece right here is inspired by my grandmother, who was kind of a wasp of a lady. She was very businessy, very straightforward, and sweet, but you know, sharp. So I wanted to kind of capture her in this lady who's, you know, on her way somewhere, and she's on a mission, and she's got a mission in mind that she wants to accomplish.
Was this actually the train station that she was in, or like was it like something that you came up with?
This is just something that I came up with because I felt like it kind of fit her demeanor in the video or in the picture.
Okay. What is your inspiration for this beauty?
My inspiration for this piece was Baroque and Renaissance art, and I take a lot of inspiration from Caravaggio's art, and I really like the light shifting across her and her being in the same plane as the things around her. And I just wanted a soft, feminine piece. And I think the fruit kind of tie in with femininity, you know, because we deliver nutrients and we're very comforting to the people around us. I think there's a lot of symbolism in fruit and women that go hand in hand.
Okay. Was this one kind of like in the soft category as well, or?
Yes, I would say this one's a little more experimental than what I normally do. When I painted this, my safe space was my bathroom. And this was my cat that I had had for like, I think like 16 or 17 years. And he got me through so much, so I just painted my safe space in a way. And I was in a dark place at the time of this painting, so I just wanted to kind of capture that.
Okay, so that's you in the photo.
Yeah, it was.
Okay. I couldn't recognize it, of course, until you started talking.
It's very different than, yeah, that's me.
I got you. And so what about this guy? He's got a gazelle in his mouth.
Yeah, I mean, this one, I'm heavily inspired by nature as well. I love big cats. If you can't tell, I have multiple cat tattoos, and I've always had cats. So I think I love them. I think they're very fluid in their motions, and I like catching things in a natural state if I can, and I feel like, you know, this is as natural as it gets.
Okay.
You know?
What about this one right here?
This lady, she doesn't really have a story quite yet. I wanted something kind of lonely and kind of, I guess kind of sad a little bit, but I wanted the colors around her to be bright. So she was kind of creating her own chaos in a way, or finding darkness where there isn't any, if that makes sense.
Okay.
That one's kind of a complicated feeling to me, but it's still in the works, so we may develop more, you know.
Okay. I see another cat, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I love panthers. They're a classic symbol in tattooing, and I wanted to do something that kind of blended the two worlds. Mm-hmm. And I thought this was a fun piece. It was just kind of a break from what I do normally, I guess. So that woman is actually, do I tell the actual story of it?
You can, yeah.
Okay. So this painting is actually a stop motion, a pause screen, I guess, from a TikTok of these girls that were hanging out at the beach, and they were having a good time. They were picnicking and doing all of these really cute, you know, friendly things. And I felt really drawn to that. You know, as I was talking earlier, there's like a sense of femininity and friendship that I really like. So I was trying to capture that. I think the butterfly represents the femininity to me.
Okay. Do you feel like you're around more women now?
I do, thankfully. I'm very, very happy to have female friends around, and me and my mom have a great relationship, and I feel like I have more female energy around me than I've ever had. But you know, like we were talking before, it's not that I'm not a friendly person, I'm just kind of hard to get to know, and I know that. But for some reason, I love women so much, but they intimidate me. And that's a me problem. I gotta work on that.
Like looking at all the paintings and stuff on the wall, like, do you find painting as like something outside of what you usually do that like brings you comfort, or how would you describe painting for you?
I would say painting for me is a good practice. It's something to keep your mind sharp, and I struggle a lot with form, so I try and study that through painting. And color is something that never came easy to me, so I try and practice that as much as I can. But also, it's something different, you know, and I draw for 4, 5, 6 hours a day, so it's nice to use a different media. And that's why I picked up sewing too, because I can be creative in a different way.
Okay, so where'd you get this tattoo from?
So I got this tattoo from Stone at Hattiesburg Tattoo. And it originally started with just the umbrella, but I have really soft skin, so it ended up kind of messing up a little bit. So we ended up adding it and making a whole sleeve out of it, essentially, or a half sleeve, I should say.
I see.
Yeah.
All right, what about the ones over here? So
I got this one at my first convention that I went to from Kaylin Becker, and she's a very talented traditional artist. This is from Tyler Davis, and this was actually my second tattoo ever. I love that one. And these are from Jess Kiespert. They're just little flash pieces that I've collected from her from over the years. And I have some mackerel, because I was a marine biologist major, and I still have a love for fish and marine life.
why the two right next to each other?
I don't know. I mean, this was a pre-draw, so she already had them drawn, and I had actually just got back from a family trip, and we fished and we caught lots of mackerel, so I was like, oh, look at that, why not?
Okay.
Kind of upset my dad less when he knew that there was a meaning.
I see. What about her right there?
She is an ode to my love for vintage pieces. She's a cameo pendant, and I'm just obsessed with vintage pieces and jewelry, so.
Gotcha, and a little love right there.
I love love. I'm so excited for Valentine's Day.
Favorite holiday?
It is, yeah. I love romance. I love being soft and sweet, you know.
I bet that's your favorite genre movie.
It's not.
Really?
I hate romance movies because they never get it right. They never get it right.
Yeah, they think everything's all fairy tale.
Yeah, it's not that easy.
When did you start feeling confident in your ability to get tattooed?
God, like 2 days ago. I started feeling confident probably within the past 6 months, and I've been tattooing for almost 3 years now. It's been a really long process to try and get a handle on, and tattooing is the hardest thing I've ever done. It's the hardest media I've ever used, and just adapting my drawing style and my artistic understanding and, you know, transitioning to tattooing is very difficult. So I would say just recently. I pull a lot of inspiration from the artists that are around me. I mean, being in a community of artists in Hattiesburg right now is one of the most uplifting things that I've ever experienced. And I would say my mentor has inspired me a lot, and I look up to him because he's done so much. You know, and he's been in the industry for like almost 30 years now, I think. So he's been doing it for a long time, and he's very hardworking and very analytical, and I think he really inspires me to kind of push back on societal norms, I guess, with it too. Just always looking for things that I can do different and not just be a basic, you know, run-of-the-mill tattoo artist.
you prefer drawing over tattooing, or do you have a preference, or?
Do I prefer tattooing or drawing? I would say I prefer to tattoo over drawing. I've always been like a graphite artist. Growing up and in school, we were taught a lot to do graphite art. And while I enjoy it, I think tattooing is newer. So I find a lot of joy in that. And I think it's really cool that I can give someone a permanent piece of art to wear, you know. So I would say tattooing is probably my preferred way. Drawing is meditative, for sure. Because once you get a plan in your head, you just get going, you know, it just kind of takes off and becomes what it becomes. I would say my relationship with my coworkers is very, it's professional when it needs to be, you know, but we fuck around, like it's very comfortable, and I would say a lot of them feel like siblings to me. I think it's very playful there. There's high energy all the time. Everybody's laughing and playing around, and the music is constant, and I love them with my whole heart. Like, I'm really sad to leave just because I've built a community with them that I've never had before, and I've never had a job that I liked as much as I like this. And I think my relationship with them has introduced tattooing to me as such a pretty thing. You know, it really made me want to go after it because I saw how much they loved it. And they're very passionate people, and I thrive on that as well because I see how much they care too. So. In 5 years, I see myself continuing to grow, and that's in every facet of art and tattooing. I want to do more conventions. I want to travel and do guest spots. I'm hoping I'll be making good money, of course. I really just want to be happy. I think for me, it's less about the money and more about the passion and learning and forcing myself to grow in uncomfortable positions. But yeah, I want to work with people who know what they're talking about, you know, and I want to draw inspiration from new references, you know. As far as goals go, I don't have anything specific because it's an ever-changing market, you know, and you have to adapt to what's out. And right now, I think a lot of people's goals are to like reach 20,000 on Instagram, you know, because that means that you have a good following, a good clientele, and that's not always the case. I want to touch people's lives and, you know, create cool art, and I think that's my main concern, is just constantly growing. I would say my parents are the people that I want to tattoo the most. And I know I could probably pick like any celebrity or whatever, but you know, they're so against it that I know if I tattooed them, that would be it. I'd be done. That'd be like the peak of my career.
What would you tell someone that wants to get into tattooing?
Oh man. Getting into tattooing it's hard because it's different everywhere, and I know that my upbringing into tattooing was very different than a lot of people's. I didn't seek it out as much as a lot of people are, and while I'm thankful for that, I know it's easier for me than it was for a lot of people. So I would say getting into it, just be patient and be willing to say no, this isn't what I need to be around. I think a lot of people put themselves in uncomfortable positions, and that's with toxic like mentors and terrible coworkers, and just because they're wanting to do this, you know, and there's a lot of shitty people tattooing, and I will say that. Find a group of people that you want to be around all the time, and I think if you can find that, then go for it. But also don't waste time teaching yourself, or don't waste time not teaching yourself, I should say. Like, you want to grow yourself. You gotta start there.